One thing that I really recommend doing if this is your first show is getting an idea of exactly how much space you have to work with. Now, typical booth spaces are about 10 by 10 feet, but this is going to be my first indoor show, and it's only 6 by 5 feet, so I need to get an exact idea of how much space that's going to be and what I can fit and what I have to leave at home. Now, what I'm going to do to mark out that space is a tape measure and just some masking tape on carpet. Again, if it's a 10 by 10 space, you probably have to do this outdoors. Well, I finished marking it out on the ground, and it's even smaller than I originally thought. It's roughly the size of a twin mattress. Alright, so now we've got the space all marked out, I'm ready to move my things in. Now here was my original idea for how I wanted to set this up. Here we've got the front of the booth with the countertop. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the washing machine set that I had earlier. We'll see if it works. These are 2 tables underneath. These are 2 shelves that will be situated either side, the same shelves I've got in the back. The nice thing about the indoor is that I don't have a tent, so I don't have any roof to worry about height limit. It's actually in a warehouse, so I can go as high as I want. So we'll see if this works. It may not, but it's a good starting point.
The sound is pleasing when it sounds like it is breathing. There's no one around to hear the notes falling down.
Alright, so the first thing that I want to stress the importance of is keeping your tabletop, your countertop as clean and as organized as possible. So here you see I have very few things. I'm going to have a few more things, probably a couple hoodies and some belts, but for the most part I want to keep this space open and neat. And the reason for that is you've got money coming in and you've got t-shirts going out, and to keep the area looking simple and nice and neat, it'll actually draw people and it'll present a more professional appearance. Because if it's messy, even if you've got cool stuff, people are going to be less inclined to take a look at it if it seems like you're disorganized. Another thing to keep in mind when you're organizing your space and your setup is to put your hottest sellers or the things that you're trying to move the most at eye level of the customer. So about 5.5 to 6 feet is where you want things that are your top sellers. Now these are actually not what I'm going to have up as my final displays, but it gives you an idea that that's really true. Eye level, first thing you see. That's also a good thing to keep in mind for your company name or website or MySpace or blog or Flickr or whatever. Put it at a level where they see it first. So as soon as they see your items, they see your name and they make that link in their mind. And have that brand name in as many places as you can. Don't attack them with it, but have it on your table, have it on takeaways, business cards, stickers, whatever, so that people really do remember your name, because they're seeing a lot of stuff at these shows, and if you can make a lasting impression on them, then you've done a good job. Another thing that I've done with my booth and my setup is to have these sheets made for the outside of the shelves. Now typically my shelves aren't laid out like that. Usually they're at the back and they're all in a row, and I've got my sheets behind them. And the reason I do that is because it actually deters people from taking stuff. Unfortunately, at these shows, it's somewhat common for people to report stolen money or merchandise. So don't make it easy for people who are coming there possibly looking for an opportunity to take stuff. Protect your items, have people watching it, and do things, just simple things like this can save you a lot of heartache in the end. And the second benefit of having something like this is it just makes it look nice. Instead of items kind of flopping out behind the shelves and looking messy, this gives it a very nice, uniform look. So when people see my booth, the first thing and only thing they see are my products and company name. Again, really important to do that. Okay, so pricing and how you list it. There's 2 different opinions on this subject, and I'll give you both. One line of thought is to not show your prices and let people kind of fall in love with your products and really start liking them, and then draw them in, and then they ask what the price is, and you can tell them after they've already kind of made an attachment with it. So that's one theory. The other is that put your prices up front, make them visible, have like a line sheet or a catalog on the table, or have signs hanging up so that people know exactly how much you're charging, so they don't have to ask you anything, and as soon as they talk to you, they're ready to make a purchase. So there's different thoughts. I tend to go with the latter. I like, as a customer, knowing exactly how much something costs and not having to ask, but you may feel differently. You may feel that it's better to go with the other alternative. Sorry for the constant wardrobe change. I've filmed this over a few days span. But I just wanted to do a quick shot of this real quick. As you can see, it isn't a whole lot of space that I've taken up here. I don't know how much actual square footage this is, maybe about 8 square feet. It's pretty tiny, and I think that's pretty important when you're doing shows. Make sure you use the same size container. If you've got a lot of different containers, you aren't going to be able to stack them, and the stacking is really nice if you have to scoot under a table or something. So just be thinking ahead. Try to be as efficient as possible and not get too many different sizes. As you can see, everything's here. I've got my shirts in here. I've got some other display items in here. My belts are all in here in a little stacker. I got my 2 tables, my chair, backpack for things I don't want to just be sitting around, like my cash box, stuff like that. And here's my shelves. So this is the entire setup. Another thing that I wanted to mention that's a good idea to do is when you're packing everything up, if you've got several different containers like I've got here, I've tried to consolidate as much as possible, but I've still put numbers on the actual containers, so they're numbered 1 through 6. And that way I'm able to keep track of what's in what container. So I've got a little chart that says container 1 has this, girls size is small, medium, 2 is, you know, girls, large, extra large, whatever you want to do. That way if you're looking for something and scramble, you can check the sheet and know where it is. Most important thing to keep in mind while you're doing a show is to have fun. I've made the mistake of being so, wrapped up with trying to make sales that I kind of just miss the interaction with other vendors, with customers, and just kind of enjoying myself. And that'll really make it a lot better of a show if you try not to focus so much on pushing merchandise and just kind of have a good time. You won't regret it. So anyway, hopefully these are some helpful things for you in your next show. I'm sure there's more tips I forgot, but this might get you started on the right foot. So enjoy.